Yeah, what's up? Natalie Milam here, the dope trauma therapist, and I am coming today to just talk to you about how I do therapy. Okay. So I do therapy in what I call a five-phase process. Okay. Phase number one is me just getting to know you, right? Like who is the person that's sitting across from me or that's on the other side of the screen with me so that I can really understand like what has shaped and formed you into the person that you are today. Phase number two is all about resourcing, right? So whenever you get triggered and whatever that looks like for you, right? Whether you spaz out, your heart starts beating really fast and really hard. Maybe your palms start sweating. Maybe, you show up in an aggressive way. You cut some folks out. You knocking stuff over, flipping over tables, whatever that thing is for you, right? The reason that that happens is because you're reliving whatever traumatic experiences or not and or but aka emotional injuries that you have survived. You're reliving them, right? And so what I'm going to do is help you know how to help your nervous system to like reset itself and get back to a place of knowing that you're actually okay right now, right? Like you're safe right now. The thing that happened in the past isn't happening again right now, right? So that's phase two. Phase three is where we really get into the deep work. Like we're going to go to the root of it. We're going to figure out why you're having that reaction, right? Like what was that emotional injury, that physical injury, that sexual injury that happened that's causing you to relive that thing in present day. Okay. So, whenever there has been trauma, it gets stuck in our brains and our bodies in a way that causes us to see ourselves differently, see the world differently, see other people differently, right? That is the brain's normal response to a very abnormal thing that happened. So, what we want to do is to access it the way that it's stored, right? So, when we start to see ourselves differently, what we're doing is we're telling ourselves like things like, I'm not worthy. I'm not safe. I can't trust anybody. The world's not safe. Things like that. I'm not good enough. I don't belong, right? Especially with people who have had a lot of emotional injuries and even physical injuries that are just related to your identity, right? Like whether it's because you're a Black woman or a Black man, whether it is because you are a gay or bisexual or pansexual person, and people don't understand it and they have biases and prejudices and all that kind of stuff. And they may have treated you in a very oppressive manner, right? So that may have left you thinking, I don't belong, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to access it exactly how it's stored in your brain and in your body. And those things that we're thinking, or like I said, telling ourselves, that's not a conscious process, right? Like you're not consciously telling yourself that. And even logically, like you can know that those things are false. But in your body, you don't believe that they're false. You absolutely believe that they're true. Your body feels like they're true because you have actually lived and have a real lived experience of the trauma. Okay. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever that thought is that we call it a negative cognition or a core belief. We're going to take that thing and we're going to disconnect it from the trauma that happened. Okay. Now, we're not brainwashing you. You're going to remember everything that happened. But we're doing is we're just taking the lie away from it, right? Because that's exactly what it is. It's a lie, right? Like you thinking that you're not worthy, it's a lie, right? You're worthy. You're a person, you're a human being, you have a heart, and therefore you are worthy. You're worthy of every single good thing that this world has to offer you. Okay. So you are worthy. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that false thoughts and belief about it. And we're going to actually help you to connect a positive belief to that, right? Because you have real lived experiences of times when you actually did know that you were worthy, or you did know that you were good enough, or you did know that you were safe, or you did know that you belonged, right? And even if it's just one time, we can find it, right? And we're going to connect it into your neural pathways. Okay. So that's what we're doing in phase three. And that is definitely the bulk of the work that we'll be doing together. Then in phase four, we're going to practice how you want to show up in your life, right? Like, what do you want for your future? What are your values? And then how can you live out those values consistently in your everyday life, right? And so maybe you need to put some boundaries in place with the person who harmed you way back then, right? Maybe you were made to continue to stay around a person who caused you harm, right? Those were things that were outside of your control then, but now you have a lot of power, right? You have a lot of opportunity to create safety for yourself. So we're going to work on those things. And then, we're also just going to practice how you want to show up. How do you want to show up in your relationships? If you have been a person that has kind of slid into the shadows and not really been seen, but you want to actually be able to come forward and have some confidence in yourself, we're going to work on it. We're going to practice it and we're going to work on it until you're comfortable with doing it. So that's phase four. Phase five of therapy is graduation. We are preparing you this entire time. We're preparing you to be able to graduate therapy. It is not intended that you're going to be in therapy forever. As a matter of fact, I'm not doing my job well if you're staying in therapy forever, right? Like it's not designed for you to become dependent or anything like that. Like you're coming here because you have real hurt, you have real pain, you have real experiences that you've lived through, and you need help getting through them, right? You need help healing so that you can get to the other side and live your absolute best life. So that is what I'm here to help you do. Okay. So if you are ready to begin the process, I encourage you to go ahead and book now on my website, and that is dopetraumatherapist.com. Okay. I hope to see you soon.